Emeka gripped his canoe tightly, his heart pounding. The river swirled around him, the water roaring like a wild animal. His fishing net, heavy and tangled, pulled at his arms as he struggled to stay afloat. "I'm sorry. Please forgive me," he shouted into the air, but the river didn't come. It seemed angry and alive. It all began because Emeka was stubborn. Everyone in his village knew him as a fearless fisherman who always caught the biggest fish. But Emeka had a problem: he didn't like rules. The elders often warned him, "The river belongs to the goddess. Respect her, or you will face her anger." Emeka would laugh, brushing off their warnings. "The river is just water," he would say. "It belongs to no one." One morning, Emeka decided to fish in the forbidden part of the river. The elders had told stories of how the river goddess punished those who disrespected her waters, but Emeka didn't believe in such tales. "That's where the biggest fish are," he thought. "I will catch enough to sell and eat for weeks." He left before sunrise, paddling his canoe into the quiet river. The morning mist hung low, and the water was calm. Too calm. Emeka threw his net into the water, excited about the huge catch he was sure to pull in. But as soon as the net sank, the river changed. Small waves appeared, even though there was no wind. The waves grew, rocking his canoe. Emeka frowned but kept pulling his net. Then he heard it, the voice, soft and cold. "Why do you disrespect my river?" Emeka froze. The voice seemed to come from all around him. He looked around but saw no one. "Who's there?" he called, trying to sound brave. The voice grew louder. "You were warned, Emeka. You ignored the rules. Now, you will pay." Suddenly, the river exploded into chaos. Waves crashed against his canoe, nearly tipping it over. His net became heavy, too heavy to pull. Emeka's canoe spun in circles as he tried to free himself. The harder he pulled, the tighter the net wrapped around his arms. "Stop. Please. I'm sorry," Emeka shouted, but the river didn't stop. It pulled his canoe down, dragging him into the cold, dark water. He struggled to swim, but the current was too strong. It felt like hands were grabbing him, pulling him deeper. Just as he thought he wouldn't survive, everything stopped. The water went calm, and Emeka found himself lying on the riverbank, coughing and gasping for air. His canoe was gone, and his net lay torn beside him. Villagers stood nearby, their faces filled with shock and fear. They had heard the commotion and rushed to the river, only to see Emeka thrown out by the water itself. An elder stepped forward, shaking his head. "You're lucky, Emeka. The goddess could have taken your life. She gave you a second chance. Will you listen now?" Emeka nodded, too shaken to speak. From that day, he changed. He never fished in forbidden waters again. Before every fishing trip, he poured palm wine into the river as an offering to the goddess. He told anyone who would listen, "The river is not just water. It belongs to her. Respect her, or you will regret it." The villagers noticed Emeka's change. He became humble, respectful, and more careful. The river goddess had taught him a lesson he would never forget. The river was alive, and her anger was not something to take lightly. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more African stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification button so you never miss a new story.